You have been at your place of lowest emotion, and God has provided renewal and strength and restoration for you when you've been at your lowest. We need to give him praise for what he's provided. We need to, when we reflect upon his grace, we must reflect upon his provision. God has been a great provider. Oh, when I talk about provision, what stands out in my mind is the powerful line in the book of Genesis where Abraham is offering up Isaac. And they are on their way up the mountain. They get there. He's putting the body of Isaac on the altar to make him a sacrifice. And Isaac looks up at his father, Abraham, and says, listen, Daddy, I see the ram. And he says, I see the fire and I see the altar. But where's the sacrifice? Abraham caught in the emotion of the moment because he's following the instructions of God. And he's thinking in his mind that you are the sacrifice. But what he says, he doesn't say, son, I've got a sacrifice. What he says is, God will provide a sacrifice. And we all know how that story ends, that God, when Abraham makes that statement, a ram appears. And God tells Abraham, there's your sacrifice. How many times have we been at the edge of brokenness, at the very exhaustive place of our lives, and God stepped in and provided what we needed and that only he could have provided? Oh, hallelujah this morning. I know there's somebody listening to me who knows what I'm talking about. To be pushed to your extremities, to be pushed to your end, to almost want to give up. And just in the moment when you're about to surrender, God stepped in and made a way out of your life, for your life. God's provision. When I reflect on his grace, I gotta find it in his provision. I look back and see how God has provided for my family, provided for my opportunities, provided for my education, provided for my health. God is a provider. The Greek of that, the Hebrew word is dominant providibit. God will provide. So we who are walking by faith live in the expectation that God will provide. We who acknowledge grace can see, oh Lord, it's not just a plunge in the darkness to say that God will provide. By grace, we look back and reflect and we see that God has provided. The second category of glimpsing the grace of God through the rearview mirror of our own experience is not only that God will provide, but God will protect. God is a protector. God protects us from ourselves when we would not be what we ought to be. God keeps us from our own faults. You know, it's not everything that others do to me that I need to be protected from. God helps me to protect me from myself. Because in myself, I have the capacity to flaw my journey. The Apostle Paul is acknowledging that in the text. He acknowledges that I was in verse 14, verse